Hello. Okay, thank you for being here. Welcome. I appreciate today's video is going to be a 4-card reading on Will We Get Back Together? So this is a choose your own adventure, pick a pile reading. I would encourage you to kind of tune into the stone that looks intriguing to you or that you are drawn to. This will be pile 1, pile 2, and pile 3. And then this reading is going to talk about the current energy of the relationship, what is needed within me for this relationship to work out, what needs to change within the relationship itself, and how might the relationship unfold in the next 3 months. So it will kind of touch on these aspects. Of course, I can pull more cards for clarity if need be, but more or less this should be a 4-card reading. So go ahead, pause your video and pick which one suits you the most. And you know, if you're drawn to 2, not quite sure, pick more than one, because there might be a message in more than one of these readings for you. Okay, so we will go ahead and get started with that. Okay, here we are, pile number 1 with this pretty rose quartz crystal. It's a good kind of love rock. All right, I've already shuffled my deck, cleared my deck, and have laid out the cards. I'm just going to go ahead and give these a quick little shuffle up to get ready for the reading. So card 1, card 2, card 3, and card 4. As I said, if need be, I will have more cards for clarity. So number 1, what is the current energy of this relationship? Okay. 10 of Wands for the current energy of this relationship. This kind of tells me that there was some burden, I feel, more on one person than another. This card speaks of not so happy times, things which were hidden. I feel like maybe some truth came to light somewhere, and maybe some lies were had, perhaps some infidelity. I feel like really on one part, not on both. And it doesn't, I don't mean to say infidelity as in cheating, but there's maybe some lying happening, and or maybe a lot, enough to break up a relationship. And I don't feel like there's a heck of a lot of communication right now. This doesn't really feel like there's a lot of communication. I feel like one person is taking the burden on themselves as wanting the relationship to continue or perhaps reconcile, but I don't feel that it's within both parties to do so at the moment. Current energy feels sort of disjointed, one side having been oppressed. I definitely feel like this was a one-sided kind of breakup because of something somebody else did. It doesn't seem mutual to me. And the 10 speaks to betrayal, disguise, injustice, cruelty. Yeah, maybe this person was somewhat absent in the relationship. That's why I don't feel like, just as it stands currently, this to me says I don't feel like there's a lot of communication going on here. So yeah, not super cheery. Well, for a breakup's usually not very happy. So, but I don't feel like there's a lot of communication going on, and it sort of feels like one party over another is kind of interested in the reconciliation more so than the other person. I feel like this other person might even just be like gone. They've already like moved on. But let's see what the next card has to say. So the next card is asking what change is needed within me for this relationship to work out, which is always a good thing to think about. We cannot change how other people react. We can only change how we act and how we are. We can't, so this is a good thing for maybe something to work on if this is really something that you want to do. And this is the Six of Pentacles, another upright card. So I feel like in terms of cards, the reversals tend to say things which are much more stuck. I don't feel like the energy here is very stuck. I feel like with the non-reversals here, it feels pretty okay. As I said, I don't feel like there's much communication happening right now. But with the Six of Pentacles upright like this, I feel like there is some change on your part that can be made. This talks about kindness, charity, giving gifts, as you can see in the picture. If you can, I'll hold it up. You can see sort of doling out some gold here, and the people are sort of begging for it. So I really feel like in order to maybe change something of yourself, this person is maybe looking for you to admit fault with something, maybe and it's maybe not something you want to do, but it seems like that could be a possible way forward. And I don't know if you're at fault for anything, but it seems like maybe there is some apology needed. There's some something which is expected from you to this person before things can move forward. So as I'm saying, don't know. I don't know if this is something you're willing to do, or if it's even something that this other person deserves you to do. But it seems like this is what this person is after. They want your attention. They want your gratification. They want you to make amends with them. And it doesn't feel 100% one-sided. I feel like with this card I said that there was definitely one person who did something over another person, but I didn't feel like it was your fault. But if it was, then this is what this person is looking for. They're looking for some apology. They're looking for some attention. They're looking for some amends being made on your part, that you need to step forward and say, hey, this wasn't okay. I apologize, or, however that looks to you. This is what this person is expecting from you. So, okay, let's move on to the next card. Okay, so for the next card, it is saying what needs to change within the relationship itself. Seven of Pentacles, which is funny because we just had the Six of Pentacles, and this one is in the reverse position, which tells me that there's some more stuck energy here. And this doesn't really point to anything good. This kind of talks about anxiety, worry, impatience, affliction, complications, setbacks. So I feel like all of these kinds of things need to change. Like there's really somebody who is not feeling validated and is worrying about a lot of things. And I don't know if this is you or the other person. So however it may fit, know that this is a big part of what happened to this relationship. There was a lot of, which does bode well with this card. I mean, that fits with what this card was saying, that there was some lying, perhaps, some maybe moving on, some maybe being ignoring somewhere along the way, maybe cheating perhaps. And then this one is saying that there is a lot of worry and a lot of anxiety because of that, of these kind of underlying things. But I don't feel like I don't feel like I'm saying anything that isn't already known here. But so these are things that need to change within the relationship, which means that this person or you need to step up and make amends and try to see a way forward if you can, if the trust can be rebuilt. I feel like there's really like a lot of the trust was broken, and it's a lot of times really hard to get back, but this card really feels like it's saying how it can be done, but it will take some time. So that's that card. And the next card is how might the relationship unfold in the next 3 months. Never a good sign when we get the Three of Swords. And this one, well, okay, it's in the reverse position. So instead of the swords plunging into the heart, as you can see in its upright position, we can kind of look at them as falling out of the heart in its reversed position. So it does seem like there may be some hope for making amends, for reconciling this relationship, but I do feel like there needs to be a lot of work, not just on one person's part, but I feel like one person is going to carry the burden of that, and I'm not sure who, again, which person this is, because we're kind of talking about if you get back together, it's, you know, it's not going to be on one person, obviously. So the swords, the Three of Swords, and the upright position talks about heartbreak and, you know, all the horrible things, that feelings that go along with it. This is really like the breakup card, if there ever there was one. But since it is in its reverse position, this one does tend to change the meaning of it. So as I said, the swords are falling out of the heart, meaning little by little things could change. There could be a reconciliation, but it does, the energy is very heavy here, and it does seem as though it will take a lot of, I don't want to say persuading, but a lot of work, obviously, to get it back. So, you know, it's just, I guess, a decision that needs to be made through communication, of which, again, I didn't think that there was a lot. So I guess that's probably going to be the first step. But now maybe if you know the way forward, and what type of communication is being sought, and actually what the problem is, knowledge is power, right? So if this is in fact talking about you, if you were maybe the person that did sort of bring about the breakup of the relationship, maybe you made your significant other feel, you know, what this card was saying, anxious, maybe worried, not trusting, then we sort of talked about how to get that back. If that is you who is looking for this person to make amends with you, then that might be a little bit of a more difficult conversation to have. But definitely the communication is going to need to be restored in order for that to take place. Maybe now kind of is maybe clearer if you were looking for this, what you're kind of looking for. Maybe you can maybe be a little bit more clear with your significant other if it's you who's looking to be reassured in the relationship. All right, so I'm going to leave it with that. Hope this has made sense for you, and that's maybe provide a little bit of clarity for you. And I'm going to move on to reading number 2. Thanks for listening. And here we are for reading number 3. So as stated in the other readings, I do clear my decks and shuffle them and lay them out before the video starts, just so I can, you know, just so it doesn't take too much time in doing all of that. Just going to shuffle these ones up, and if I need more clarity, I will pull from the deck. All right, so let's get started. Number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4. And number 1 will talk about what the current status of the relationship is. High Priestess. Love this card. So here it is in its reverse state. This doesn't really say anything too happy, in my opinion. I feel like there's kind of a bit of a heavy energy that comes along with this card for the moment. In its reversal state usually talks about like being, using your intuition, trusting yourself, that you're in this position where you are trusting yourself. But I feel like this moment there's not a lot of trusting yourself. Like you really are in the dark here as to what is going on, what happened, you don't know. Or maybe it's the other person who is feeling that way. As it is talking about getting back together mutually, is not highlighting one or the other. So I feel like there's some really a lot of cloudiness as far as what happened for one person. One person is really not clear and is not trusting themselves. This card can speak to you misjudging a situation. So maybe you thought something and something else was actually true, or there was some misguided thought here. Maybe there was a lie that was told, and so something is not completely clear here. And I feel like the energy, and I don't feel like a lot of clarity has been offered as well, either on either side. I do feel like this is coming from the other person. I feel like somebody's in the dark here. So the next card will speak to what you can do to make this relationship work out, what you can change to help the relationship. Queen of Swords. Okay, well, this is another female card here, and it does also carry some weight here. It is in the upright position. The sword is in the air. And this card a lot of times represents a spinster, like I guess an older single woman. It seems like such a harsh term and such like an antiquated one, because people tend to stay single for a long time. So I really feel like this maybe you are somebody who has stayed single for a long time, maybe did get into a relationship and it didn't quite work out. You're not so sure why. But I feel like there's a lot of bitterness with this card. So I do feel like I feel like if this is going to work out, if there's going to be reconciliation, you maybe need an attitude kind of overhaul, maybe change your mindset, maybe be a little bit more open-minded as to I don't feel like this is going to be a situation where that person just comes running back. I feel like this is going to be something where there needs to be some initiative taken on your part, and the attitude and open-mindedness is something that's going to have to change on your part. This card feels very rigid to me, set in their ways, which is probably why it's referred to as like the spinster card, because sometimes when we become older, we tend to get more set in our ways. It doesn't mean you are older or a spinster. It just, this is sort of the energy that this card is giving off. And so when this is kind of talked about, it does, I feel like, mean there needs to be some give on your part to work on the relationship, to maybe take a step forward and say, what happened here? I don't quite understand, because maybe this was just a quick cut and done, and we don't know why. So I feel like this is something that could be, there is some knowledge to be learned, but the willingness has to be there. It's not going to be the other person. I don't feel like chasing after the relationship. I feel like if you want to know what happened or want things to move forward, you're going to have to put yourself out there a little bit and figure out what happened. And I don't feel so much that person would be unwilling to talk. So let's move on to card number 3. Okay, so the next card will represent what needs to change within the relationship to make it work out. And this is the Page of Wands. And this is kind of like a fiery kind of immature kind of energy, and I feel like maybe there wasn't enough of that, and I feel like there needs to maybe be more carefree energy that needs to be brought to this relationship. I feel like it, yeah, I feel like there needs to be a less serious approach taken, kind of, which kind of works with this person who is very rigid. I feel like this is saying we need more. We need more playful energy. We need more fire. We need more excitement, not just something unusual, something surprising, something different. I really feel like there needs to be a new energy brought, a change. There is too much stagnant energy, I feel like, with this card, very much stagnant energy. And there just needs to be a new breath of fresh air, a new approach, a new way of thinking that needs to be brought into this relationship. But so far, I don't feel like it's unsalvageable. I feel like these things can be done, but it will take some, obviously, time and energy, but definitely a new approach, a new energy here is what is lacking. I feel like there's just a lot of like I feel for a while that it's been kind of sad, kind of like same thing over and over again, and that is like too much repetition. There needs to be maybe a trip or not even anything major, just some switch up, make it new, make it different, and I think that will help. I think that is what this card is saying. And then this card is asking, or is in the position of what will happen. What does the outlook for the next 3 months look like with this card? It is in reverse, so I do feel like, this is a great card in the upright position. You can see the pentacle in the hand, the clouds. It's great. That's very happy. And the reverse position is a little bit less, so I do feel like there's a lot of things blocking this relationship from moving forward. I feel like it could, if the right conversations were had, if the communication and is restored, but I feel like that is going to take a lot of work to prove that the routine can change, that newness can be brought in, that it needs to obviously take work on both sides. It doesn't, to me, feel like a lot of... I feel like with this card, it could be saying that there would be a reconciliation, but if the work is not done, then you're just going to go back into the same place that you were before with this relationship, and that's not obviously what you want. So I feel like really, if you want to put in the time and on both sides, this card could become a reversal and be everything you hoped it could be. But for now, as it stands, the work needs to be done in order to have the right outcome. So yeah, because this really talks about, like, the reversal of this card talks about like superficially being happy. And so, as I said, I do feel like this could be speaking to a reconciliation happening without much being done in way of working on. So maybe it'll be great for a minute and then you're back to where you were before. So really work on taking a new eye, being more open-minded. And it doesn't necessarily only speak to you. It could also be speaking to what the other person needs to be also bringing to the relationship, as again, it was talking about the relationship, not only the individuals. Obviously the individuals within the relationship, but not speaking to one particular person. So yeah, I feel like could be a reconciliation superficially if the work is not done. If the work is done, this could have a very, very good outcome. So, okay, so I'm going to leave that there, and I hope that this has resonated and helped you in some small way. Hope it has made sense for you. Please let me know in the comments. Okay, welcome back with reading number 2. And I'm going to go ahead and shuffle. As I said, I do shuffle and clear my decks before I lay out the cards. I'm going to be laying out the 4 cards. And if I need more clarity, I will just pull from the deck. So here we have 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so first card is current energy of this relationship. Page of Swords. It doesn't look too bad, actually, the Page of Swords in the upright position. Yeah, it sort of feels fresh when I see this, but this to me says kind of young. I feel like the energy is kind of playful. I feel like there is some communication that's still happening here. Yeah, but again, it sort of feels slightly younger, kind of not super serious. So if there is some communication here, it doesn't feel like there's a lot of serious communication about reconciliation happening here. This card traditionally can speak to somebody like expecting something, like being ready for whatever's coming next at them. So I feel like maybe somebody does have some expectations of reconciliation here. It says it looks like a batter waiting to hit a ball, and that's sort of kind of interesting because it's like they're ready for whatever's coming at them. So I feel like there is some watching and waiting to see what the other person does, seeing if maybe they make the move first. As I said, the communication doesn't feel completely blocked off at this point, and there's some watching and waiting happening. Yeah, there isn't a lot more that I see coming up with this card. It doesn't look all that bad though. So this may have been amicable breakup perhaps. Maybe it wasn't a very long relationship, or maybe it's something that happens or has happened more than once. There has been a breakup and a get back together, and a breakup and a get back together. So that is very possible in my feelings here. All right, I'm just going to move on to the next card. Next card is asking or speaking to what change you can do to make the relationship work out. So let's see what this says. Judgment, and it's in the upright position. So again, I really feel like there's some hope with this relationship. A lot of times when we read on reconciliations, the cards are not super favorable, but so far it doesn't look too bad. So obviously Judgment, we know what that speaks to, right? Yeah, this definitely feels like a decision was being made, and maybe in retrospect it wasn't the right decision if there is wanting to be some sort of reconciliation. But it does speak to renewal, resurrection, awakening, atonement, repentance. So yeah, I mean, it's all the things that kind of talk about reconciling something. So I feel like if this was you who made the choice to break up, then it is definitely within you to make the choice to propose a reconciliation with your significant other. So as I said here, I feel like the energy here is pretty easy going. So I feel like that person's almost expecting that to happen. So I don't know if this is, like I said, kind of the case where there's been multiple breakups and get back together. Maybe on both parts. This feels like, again, the same sort of repetition situation. So it does feel like this is something that could happen if one person then is making the initiative to the other person. I feel like that's sort of what you can do to, if this is what you're wishing to do, then I feel like all that needs to be done here is bringing it up, having communication, conversation, kind of speaking to what you're looking for, and maybe some atonement on either side probably needs to be had. There's some apologies that probably need to be made, I would assume. So yeah, it doesn't seem like something super difficult. I feel like this is something that is expected. So, okay, so we're gonna move on to card number 3. Okay, moving on to card number 3. This is what needs to change within the relationship itself for it to work. 3 of Cups. I think that's pretty well. Yeah, there. The first thing this tells me is that there may be another person involved here, and somebody that might be just a little bit too close to this relationship. Yeah, so I feel like that's probably something that's going to need to change in this relationship. I don't know if it's a friend on one or on one side or the other side, but this is actually not a bad card. But just the thing that I'm picking up from it is there's 3 instead of 2. And I feel like there needs to be 2 which reconcile with one another to become harmonious. I do feel like the third person needs to kind of take a hike a little bit. I feel like there's somebody way too close in this relationship. And might be a little bit of an anchor or a hindrance. So I feel like that is definitely something that would need to change going forward to be successful with this relationship. That scared me. Okay, so we're going to move on to card number 4. How might this relationship unfold within the next 3 months? So let's see. Knight of Cups. Oh, these are all in the upright position. I see lots of nice light blue colors in here too, which kind of tells me that I feel like this is probably more than likely going to reconcile if this is what is wanted, if it's wanted by one of you. I think we'll have to bring it up, but it does to me seem like a pretty easygoing kind of thing. Maybe that's where the 3 people come in, but again, I don't think that's working out so well. But I do feel like with this is a pretty solid card, the Knight of Cups. And the cups, well, maybe you don't know, they're, emotions, and the knight on his horse with his cup, to me, is a relatively good omen. This card does speak to a proposal, somebody who is charming, bringing together, being agreeable, compliance. So as I said, it does bode well for moving forward together. Again, if this is something which is brought up by one or more of the parties in this relationship, again, not this third person, but the 2 people who are the main foundation of this relationship. And now I feel like part of what needs to be fixed here, because there's as I said, a hindrance here in the form of somebody too close to this relationship. But I do feel like if these changes are made and the communication is restored in some depth, I feel like, because right now I feel like it's pretty surface level communication, then I do feel like this could work out, and you could manage a reconciliation together, which is pretty rare with these kinds of outcomes for these types of readings. Usually it's, you break up for a reason, but again, I feel like it's almost like you're doomed to continue to make the same mistake if you don't fix what was wrong with the relationship. And here, is what needs to be fixed. So maybe if you know that, maybe that will help. And I sincerely hope that it does. And I hope that this resonated with you and that this makes sense for you, and that it has helped in some small way. All right, so I'm going to move on to, I thank you so much for being here and for listening. If you've gotten all the way to the end, thank you so much. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.